So let's whip through this last lecture and fill in the blanks. They're quite long, just so I can make sure that you are going to take something home today and you didn't just come just to see me and to eat some barbecue. Okay, so lecture 6, Restoring the Constitution, video study questions. So taking effective action. The dangers of a constitutional convention. Advocates of a constitutional convention claim an amendment to the Constitution could rein in out-of-control government. So what is the flaw in this claim? Well, the government's already not following the Constitution. Why would we want to go and spend a bunch of effort and another distraction from what they're really doing and have a constitutional convention, right? So a convention can be limited to one topic. Well, what does the Constitution say on that matter? It says no limit. The only difference is that amendments have the prohibition that, quote, no state shall be deprived of its equal suffrage or a vote in the Senate without its consent. And 3, a convention can be limited to one topic. Well, what does the Constitution say on this matter? Did I just say that? I'm sorry. I answered the wrong one. All right. The Constitution gives no hints of the ability to limit a convention, but refers to it as a convention for proposing amendments, plural. Something he didn't mention, which is one of the main arguments also. If you've ever been in, like at a GOP convention or a precinct convention or anything where you adhere to Robert's rules, they can vote to suspend the rules and do whatever the hell they want to if everybody wants to do it. And they do it every time they get together down in Austin. They do it every time up in D.C. So I don't care what somebody tells you or predicts what the rules are going to be, they can suspend the rules. Okay? And I have a copy, I just brought one. Texas currently has an outstanding unrescinded call from 1899 to amend the U.S. Constitution. No restrictions, no subjects. How many other states have that? You probably didn't know we had an unrescinded call. And it doesn't have an expiration date on it. So how possible is it that, 34 states, 33 other states also have outstanding unlimited calls? So they all get together up there and they decide, Mary, we're going to rewrite this Constitution. We're going to fix their wagon. There's nothing to prevent that, okay? That wasn't part of your lesson, but I can show you the resolution that has not, it's still active. So the ratification process is an effective safety net. So what are the weaknesses of the safety net? Well, the ratification process can be controlled by Congress or rewritten by the convention to assure ratification by the states. You also have to remember that you say, well, the states wouldn't ratify a bad amendment. Now, I don't know how many people in here have read Mark Levin's book, The Liberty Amendments. I suffered through it. I read it. Did you also know that he also proposed to weaken the ratification requirements from 3/4 to 2/3? So I think that's like 3 or 4 states, 3 or 4 fewer states required to resist the bad amendments. You keep thinking about the good amendments. Well, think about the bad amendments, making it easier to pass the bad amendments. And again, you and I are not going to be the ones that are going to go to be a delegate to such a convention. Our governor's going to pick it. And it was a bill that almost passed last session, this past spring, that basically lets the same people that are ignoring the Constitution down in Austin, those would be our delegates to a larger body of tyrants. We already have the power now in the 10th Amendment, I'm here to tell you.
One thing that was not mentioned about the ratification that is really scary, the power of the legislature to ratify can be removed, and it says or by convention in 3/4 of the states there. A convention, who would be in the convention?
Well, actually what they're saying, that is very confusing, and I did my research a year ago. Only one amendment to our current U.S. Constitution has been amended via ratifying conventions, okay, as opposed to the state legislatures voting up or down on whether to adopt a proposed amendment that comes to us from DC. And so I got the papers on the Texas ratifying convention. That was the 21st Amendment. It repealed the 18th Amendment, which was alcohol prohibition. So I got all the documents at home. I got them from the library down in Austin. And I wanted to know, well, how were these delegates selected? Who were these delegates if it was a state ratifying convention as opposed to the state legislatures? Well, our 31 state senatorial districts, they all were able to elect one delegate, one alternate delegate. So we had 62 delegates, so to speak. And they all got together and they voted up or down whether or not to ratify for the state of Texas the 21st Amendment. So that's a ratifying convention. That there's only one that's happened.
Yeah, but it could happen this time. I mean, there's nothing to preclude the ratification going to a convention if Congress designated that.
Going through the ratifying conventions as opposed to the state legislatures? Absolutely. It says, yes, it says in Article 5 that there's two ways to do it and the Congress shall call that. Right. No. One delegate and one alternate delegate. And if a delegate can't serve, then they've got an alternate backup. But no, there were only 31 delegates. By popular vote. Yes. So, what? I'm sorry? They voted to adopt the 21st Amendment, which did repeal the 18th Amendment. Yes. Yeah, they did. Yeah. So anyway, I could talk to you all day long on the Article 5 conventions. So could Shirley. So a proper diagnosis. In the early 1800s, Alexis de Tocqueville identified the source of America's great strength, declaring, quote, "Every citizen is taught the history of his country and the leading features of its constitution. It is extremely rare to find a man imperfectly acquainted with all these things, and a person wholly ignorant of them is sort of a phenomenon." I'm working to change that, and I'm glad that you guys are here today because it's going to take every single one of us.
Barbara, according to David Barton, every student in the United States, the first 100 years we were here, had to know the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and Washington's Farewell Address.
Well,
Things that was mandatory.
people that pass the citizenship test know more than what most of us know here in this room. What is the root of the problem? It's a people who are ignorant of liberty, the Constitution, and the enemies of freedom. So what solution will address the root of the problem? And Thomas Jefferson counseled, educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. To restore liberty in any congressional district, it simply takes a team of 500 who are well-trained, coordinated in a focused effort, and can effectively reach out beyond the choir. A properly structured organization will provide what three things? Leadership and coordination, intelligence, and arms or tools. This is our tool today. Learning what the rules are. You can't play the game unless you know the rules. Otherwise, everything else is just built on emotion, which is why we've gotten in so much trouble, in my opinion. Because, you don't support whatever, Shirley. Well, good grief, It's all for the kids. Yeah, it's all emotional. Well-run chapters of less than a dozen active members have been estimated to be teams. Oh, I already read that. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that's the end. Yes, Corinne?
It was coordinated, leadership, insight.
Leadership and coordination, intelligence, and arms or tools. There's a cheat sheet on the next page. Arms or tools. Arms/tools. So that is that. Please go home. Think about some of this stuff so that it's not just a loss of your afternoon. And I would like to close real quickly, if you don't mind, and then I'm going to turn the floor over to Suzanne Carpenter. So they talked quite a bit about the New American Magazine. The New American Magazine was what I told you about in my opening story, how I was introduced to John Birch Society. They had one New American Magazine, and they do this from time to time. They'll put out a special issue that's devoted strictly to one particular subject, and mine was the outcome-based education. And so that was my initial, and I didn't leave the John Birch Society. I never joined it. I just found out how to buy the stuff. Had small kids, busy stay-at-home mom. I never joined or left the society. I just finally joined about, I don't know, time flies, 5 or 6 years ago when I got up off the couch in summer of 2008 when my Congress voted to take public money or taxes and bail out a private company, AIG, is when I finally sat down and started studying the Constitution for the very first time in my life. So, and found the John Birch Society to be very helpful in my education as well. So, if you will bear with me here, I'm going to show you, can you click to the next one? Everyone here today has 3 common characteristics. You know something is wrong in our country, and you want education with facts that you can trust, and with that education, you will want to understand the solution that will return us to the Republic as is guaranteed in both our U.S. and Texas constitutions. Once educated with the solutions, you're going to want to be a part of that solution and take action to leave this country a better place for your posterity and mine. I don't have time to waste, and I don't think that you do either. I refuse to experiment with more communist solutions. I want to repeat the history that has worked so well and did for the first 100 years in this country. I want to enforce the Constitution and see what America will look like again. That's the gamble that I'm willing to pay for. In your handouts, each lecture lists several additional study materials. I think that's right across from the cheaters grid for the answers. And you can find all of these on jbs.org or thenewamerican.com. I want to quickly give you a visual tour of how to find these once you get home, if you don't happen to pick something up that Suzanne has over here for sale. So this is a screenshot of the homepage of jbs.org. On the right margin, you can sign up for the weekly newsletter via email delivery with informative, up-to-date articles on current events. Just fill in your email and click sign up. You can always unsubscribe at any time, just like you should be able to with any reputable subscription. To find and purchase the additional study items listed on each of today's lectures found on your handout, click on the Shop button at the top of this homepage. And once you're educated and understand the solution, you're going to want to take action. You're going to be on fire. You may view any one of a number of issues that JBS has been tracking, reporting, and having a positive effect on for several decades by clicking on the action projects on the right margin of this homepage, which will take you to this page on the next slide. This page has 11 different topics. Clicking on any one of them will take you to a boatload of sources for more education and actions that you can take. You can see 6 of them here from this screenshot, and clicking on any of them will take you to that topic's resources. So I'm going to demonstrate with the action project titled Choose Freedom, Stop a Con by clicking on this icon. And when you do so, this next page will open up. And this page offers materials on a con in several different formats, such as videos, books, articles, and pamphlets that you can share with neighbors, many of which are viewable on the internet. You can learn more, you can tell others, and you can take action with the several different sources here, including links to put you in touch with your legislators where you can write your own message or use one pre-written one for you. There is also model legislation for you to ask your legislators to author, which is right up my alley. This is the homepage of the New American Magazine. It's a twice monthly publication that you can have delivered to your home in a hard copy or receive a digital copy delivered to your email address. This is the magazine that confirmed and defined with clarity what I thought was going wrong in my kids' public schools back in 1994. And as I told you before, I bought 2 dozen of them, handed them out to parents and teachers, And they told me I was crazy. Oh my gosh, Barbara, you know, they're never going to do away with handwriting. They're never going to have computer terminals instead of books. And I was just like, whatever. So you would enter your email in the box in the upper right corner that says sign up. So that's how you can find some more resources to enrich what you've learned here today. So at this time, I want to introduce Suzanne Carpenter and have her take the floor before we open up to floor discussion. And please don't run off, because I know a lot of y'all probably want to take turns and raise questions and share ideas. So I'm going to ask Suzanne to close here for us. And please don't run away if your time schedule will allow you to stay here for a little bit longer. Okay. Can I help you do something, Suzanne?
Also, Barbara, you can tell them I'll put that little paper on the table over there, where the next we're sitting, so they can actually see how to go now.
Oh, that's right. Suzanne printed this up. So before you leave, if you want some printed out instructions on how to do what I just showed you to do on the internet, yeah, we'll wait until we're through. Okay, but they'll be over here. Mm-hmm.